All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of your weekly pop culture apocalypse. I'm your co-host with Gnarly Quinn, joined by the main man, Matthias. And without further ado, let's get into the episode because this is going to be an interesting one. I had a When Worlds Collide.
I love these.
So, yeah, these are fun. These are really fun. So, what if the Seven from The Boys had fought the Avengers? Now, I had chose the Seven, and specifically, I kind of went with a little bit more traditional Seven. So we got Homelander, Queen Maeve, The Deep, Black Noir, A-Train, Translucent, and Starlight. A little bit more traditional. Those are just the characters that I had chosen. And obviously, I'm going off of TV. I'm not exactly 100% familiar with the comics, but I do know some things from the comics. So mainly off of TV. I'll let you explain the Avengers side since you got a good little team going on there for you.
You know what's funny is it's been really interesting if you picked is it Starlight? That's her name, right? Instead of Starlight, you pick Soldier Boy. That'd be really, really interesting. No, but yeah. Going through this, I just picked the original 5 members: Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man, Wasp. That's the original 5. And then we talked about making it even, so I picked Captain America and Black Panther. Now, on paper, it seems one-sided because the 7, they all have powers. They do. They all have superpowers. And on the Avengers team, there's Thor, Hulk. I want to say I'll give Cap and Black Panther because I know people argue about the super soldier serum, it's peak human, but I think there's more to that than they're leading on. And then with Black Panther, he has the power of that fruit. My mind's blank right now. I should have did more research, but he has that fruit that gives him those peak human powers too. Not just the suit, even though the vibranium technology is freaking disgusting.
Yeah, it absolutely helps.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, they got the PIM particle, which I said in our last episode is the most, to me, it's very underrated, awesome, super freaking technology. And then, of course, you got Iron Man. I don't need to explain that crazy son of a gun. But yeah, like I said, on paper, it seemed, what's that?
Oh, no, you're good. Whenever I was looking, usually if 7 people meet up with 7 people and they know they're going to fight, they'll each choose one person. And then, depending on who wins or loses, that's whenever the chaos starts and people start, ganging up on each other.
Yeah.
So I tried to get something that was fair, 7 on 7. Who would choose who? Who would line up who in that fight? And it was very interesting. I think you'd be surprised by who I think would genuinely take down Iron Man.
Right. Like I said, it seems one-sided, but here's my ultimate line in the sand. The 7 are all run by fear because they all fear Homelander. He's a narcissistic, psychotic, power-driven guy. He's not he is complicated. He's not two-dimensional at all. He's very complicated. But yeah, they're all driven by fear. Like pretty much what he says, they got to do, with the exception of maybe Black Noir. Well, if we're doing like the very start of the Boys, like Black Noir and Homelander are probably that they're right there. There's like the only friendship, and then Queen Maeve and Homelander have some history. So pretty much, and I don't know Translucent that well, but from the early episodes.
I was gonna say we didn't get to see him for very long, exactly.
No.
So yeah.
But like I feel, besides those 2 I mentioned, I feel the other members are just like together listening to Homelander through fear.
Yes. And personally, I think that plays to their detriment a little bit too, because I think they're not able to use the full potential of their powers because of their fear.
Yeah, and that's what gets me back to the Avengers, and they're together, through friendship. And I know there's ego, trust me. I know there's ego between them. But
not like Homelander.
Not like Homelander. They have friendship. They have a past. They've been together for a while. They have one thing that I think can maybe potentially beat the 7 is teamwork. Because I know for a fact that the 7 are not going to have very much of that.
No, and I think that's why, like, subconsciously in my brain, I tried to split everybody up. Because they might be a little bit better fighting on their own than they would be all together. Okay. And we have seen displays of them fighting in the same area together, but I don't think we've actually seen, outside of, when they're actually in the 7, they do use their strengths every now and again. But I can't say, I'm pretty sure I've watched every single episode up to this point, unless they released a new one. But I don't think that I've actually seen them all like work together, play off of one another. Like, yes, they might have fought in the same area, but
Yeah.
and also corruption plays a big part in that too. They just want to look
Right.
good.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much they're like actors. They're super powered actors. That's like Vought had that down. But I'm not saying, like, I should take what I said back. Like, I'm not saying there couldn't be absolutely no teamwork. I'm just saying the Avengers have way more in that in spades than the Seven do.
Yes, the Avengers will have far much more practice. They will have they'll be way more in tune than the Seven ever could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Whenever you said that the cards were stacked on one side, I thought you were going to go for the Avengers, because most of the time I was looking up certain things and people said like even DCEU Superman would completely wipe the floor with Homelander, especially Amazon's Homelander. Everyone was just crapping all over the character. They were like, "Wow, yeah, no, they wouldn't stand a chance. None of them would stand a chance." And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give these underdogs a little bit of a chance here. I kind of started rooting for the underdogs a little bit, and I don't know, might be some interesting points.
Well, tell me your spiel.
I do genuinely think that Starlight would take out Iron Man instantly, and I don't think Iron Man would be able to come back unless he has a suit that is strictly mechanically driven. There is no energy whatsoever.
Yes, so I thought about that with him. But if we're making this like a scenario, I don't know if you did that or not, but I like to do that when we do these super fights.
Absolutely, I did.
How I figured it was like Avengers are doing their thing, and then they get teleported to another dimension, time, space, and they go to the Seven, the boys' universe. And
okay.
That's how I seen that. And even that being said, it'll quickly escalate because I can see them like just boom right there in New York City. And
Homelander would not take kindly to that at all.
No, he wouldn't, because it'll be like what the hell? Because he'll see these guys, and he'll see like Thor and Hulk and be like, all right,
who are you?
This isn't good. So
yeah.
So they'll go do what they can. That's the scenario I had picked out that would work that. Like I said before, the Avengers, they've been doing this for a while, and they try to adapt to any situation. Like with Iron Man, he tries like heck to be ready for any situation. Because even in the movies, you watch every suit from Iron Man 1 or 2, even Iron Man 1 all the way to Endgame, he always did some little bit of touch-up work, even if it's minute, to make sure he adapts to everything.
Yeah. Was it you or was, I think I might have been reading something where they said Iron Man is really good, instead of adapting to the situation, he's also really good at making the situation adapt to him.
Yeah, that one episode we had, that's what I said. I mean, his way of thinking is very hard to... His preparedness is just crazy. And then he thinks... We had the Mount Rushmore episode where his IQ is just crazy. Like, it's nuts. That's why...
It's insane.
And it is. I like what they do. They make, like, Captain America and Iron Man, like, the co-captains, I guess you'd call that. I'd say more so Captain to be leader, because, like I said, he's born like that. But Iron Man also, his adaptability is just crazy.
On that front, I would like to touch on Queen Maeve a little bit, only because I did not realize, I forgot that she completely took Homelander's heat vision, like, straight to the chest and just tanked it. I forgot about that. And I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe she is a little bit stronger than I had thought. I know she can't fly. She does have the ability to leap, like, really far. I know she can, like, run across walls and everything, and super strength, absolutely super strength. She's bulletproof, and she kind of has that Wonder Woman aspect, too, with her armor.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting trying to match up her with somebody that I thought could actually give her a good fight. I honestly, though, I thought it would be interesting if her and Thor went at it first.
I thought that, too. I did.
Yeah.
That was the first one I thought of, because... Yeah, you're right. Yep.
I still think Thor may come out on top, obviously, just because she did also fight Stormfront too, which Stormfront has similar powers to Thor, just not on the godlike aspect of it. So she fought Stormfront with almost zero issue and getting blasted with Stormfront's electricity. I think that was got me in the train of thought.
Yeah, respectfully, if I can say this, with the Avengers side, they obviously have two of the most, excuse me, three of the smartest people in Marvel.
Yeah.
When Hulk's not hulking out, Bruce Banner's there, but obviously Hulk's gonna be out, doing his smashing thing.
Yeah, we just kind of left Hulk on the side a little bit, just kind of
Yeah,
ignoring the not human, but ignoring the wrecking ball that we had just sitting there.
yeah. Like I said, respectfully, the two biggest threats, besides the intelligent ones on the Avengers, is Thor and Hulk. Pretty much the two
Yeah.
powerhouses. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say they're both probably a little bit above Homelander in strength. Like I
I
said, Thor.
wouldn't be
Like I
able to
said, Thor
argue
can.
with you there.
What's that?
I wouldn't be able to argue with you there.
Okay.
I don't think so. I
Um.
think the only thing that Homelander has that would make up for it is his extreme ego and also his freaking anger issues.
Yeah.
That would give him a little bit more of an edge towards that, but I don't think it would help him strategically in the fight.
Well, I just now thought of this. Knowing Homelander, if something goes south, which it might, I know that. Oh, that insane. Oh, I know what he'd do. He would probably see something going south and grab like a civilian and probably use that to his advantage because he knows half
You are
those people are
correct.
blue Boy Scouts.
Yes. And you know what? I was going to bring that up like kind of right at the very end because the one thing that the Seven has, or we'll just use this as a general term, but the one thing that Homelander and the Seven have is their morality is so very gray. They do not care about civilian casualties. They do not care about anybody except either winning the fight, looking good, or making themselves more powerful. So, in terms of that, I feel like either they would have to drag the Avengers down low, like very low, like something like that, where the Avengers have to either stop caring, which that's a whole other topic, or the Avengers would have to kind of adapt a little bit and work around. So it's giving the Avengers more hurdles to jump over while they're fighting as well.
I could see him in New York City, everything's blowing up. I could see him like picking up a civilian and just chucking him across the city. And then Thor, does the whole hammer swing and goes after him. Thor's out of the fight.
Gone, yeah.
And then
or a
he'll
whole
pick
bus.
up. That's what I mean. Two more
bus
civilians.
Full of people and
yeah.
And
I know he would do that. He does not give a shit. He does not care.
Dude, he would straight up just laser the bottom of a building while everyone's still inside and make the Avengers be like, you either save those people or you fight us. Have fun.
Out of fear, I know some of them would probably not stop him because they know what would happen. But with Homelander's unpredictability, this fight could go really either way.
I think a lot of the research that I was doing, it was more for me just to be a little bit more informed and also just to touch up on everything because it had been a minute since I had watched The Boys, and everyone was putting The Boys like pretty low. And I'm glad we talked about this too because in my mind I wasn't exactly putting them that low, and that is exactly why. That edge, that the morality, and even with their superpowers, I don't think they might not be exactly as strong as everybody else or god tier in terms of their powers. However, the combination of both of them can give them an edge over some of those.
And here's the thing that I can't stress enough about. So when you're fighting the Hulk, see, the reason I feel Age of Ultron is very underrated. When Tony made the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit, he was constantly trying to knock him out. That was his goal. Because if you don't get a handle on him, he does not stop getting stronger.
No.
I have yet to see a limit on him, even in the comics. Because I know Homelander will push that button. Just be like, oh, I know he'll do it. And if they don't get a lid on that, it's going to be bad. For everybody, there's another wild card. If they piss off Hulk hard enough, it's going to be Avengers, the Seven, and then Hulk they have to worry about if they can't calm him down.
Yes.
And that could be to us, the Seven's advantage too, because they'd be like, Oh, we, all right. So he's doing a lot of the work for. I didn't think about that just now. This is a very This is a very
Yeah.
up and down battle. I didn't think about that. I didn't.
Yeah.
This is good.
Because I think Maeve and Homelander, if they figure that out, and Homelander absolutely would, I think both of them could do that damage to him. They could
Yeah.
piss him off just enough.
Well, what'll happen is they'll do that. He'll go rage like he does best. You know, there goes a skyscraper or 10, and then they'll they'll try to the Avengers will try and calm him down. Like Thor will be like, friend Banner, calm down, and grab his shoulder, and then he just gives his, and then Hulk is a huge haymaker and just punch him across the city. There, Thor's out of the game for a little bit, and then you got
for 2 minutes.
And then Iron Man probably won't have access to his Hulkbuster. But if it's other way around, if the 7 go to like the Marvel Universe, and then Iron Man has all that advantage, that'll be a tough fight for the 7. Because Iron Man, I will say this respectfully, is damn near ready for anything that comes up. If you see, like, they have to put up with the Skrull, the Kree, the Brotherhood, Doom. Well, I'm not going to get into that.
Story for a different day.
It just, yeah, he has to be ready for anything.
Yes, and he is ready for anything. And if he's not, he will be ready.
That's what I mean. Well, we're going to wrap this up. We'll do a part 2 because I'm having too much fun with this.
Good.
But yeah, we'll go to a quick commercial break, and we'll think of more ways, because the more we're talking about this, the more I'm thinking this isn't a very one-sided fight as I thought it was going to be. Or not one-sided. It's not as black and white as I seen it, because there's a lot of stuff happening right now that's not good.
No, and it's for either side too. Like it's just pure chaos. I love it. It's way more intense than I thought it was going to be.
It is. We'll cut to commercial break. I'll do some more looking at this, because this is pretty cool. We'll be back. Quinn, take it easy, and we'll see you in the next part.
All right, we're back to finish up this Worlds Collide. Just to recap, it is the 7 versus the Avengers. And in the 7, we got Homelander, Queen Maeve, the Deep, Black Noir, A-Train, Translucent, and Starlight. And in the Avengers, we got Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Ant-Man, the Wasp, Captain America, and Black Panther. At the start, this was not looking good for the 7. And then here we are. Now we're still debating on the morality and actually what really could happen.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Like, I feel bad for the city they're going to be fighting in, which is probably New York.
Yeah, I honestly, like I said, either way.
I'm going to agree with that, because if I look at the 7, the only one that I think is their weak link is the Deep. Because
absolutely.
A, he's kind of dumb, and B, he's pretty much like what people used to think Aquaman used to be.
Yes.
He really is.
Yes.
Like, I think that movie really did justice. I never seen the second one, but that first movie kind of put in perspective, like, how not useless he is. That's how people, like, used to see Aquaman, I feel, because honestly, his powers, unless you get him in the water or in the ocean, I don't see how he's going to benefit.
Exactly.
Even that being said, if let's say they chuck Thor in the water, and for some miracle they get him underwater, and then the Deep calls, like, school of freaking great white sharks, I don't see the great white sharks coming up on top.
Still, yeah, like I don't see a good scenario for the Deep in that. The only thing that I could think of is, like, if the Deep could lure, like, Ant-Man or the Wasp into water, or the water droplet, like, that would significantly hinder their abilities just due to surface tension and, like, viscosity, all of that stuff. But even then, they still have the ability to, like, revert back to their regular form, and then all of a sudden, like, that's a pretty good weak link for sure.
Like, I'm not sure. Like, Translucent, I'm not quite sure what his was. Did he just go invisible?
Yeah, so he actually has a carbon metamaterial. Like, his skin is made out of that carbon metamaterial, so he's nearly indestructible from the outside. And that's also what makes him invisible, is that he can bend light through his skin.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and if you remember in the show, in order to kill him, they had to do some pretty questionable things. So, like,
Yeah.
imagine being small enough to have to do those questionable things in order just to take him down.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
would the Avengers be capable of that?
I don't know. I feel the Seven can cross lines that the Avengers won't.
Exactly.
There's a lot of them. One particular, I don't need to mention his name, uh, is kind of a psycho. And if he feels like the Seven's losing, like we're not getting out of this, like we said last time, I feel he's going to get very creative
Yeah.
and do very a-hole things.
Yes.
Civilian casualties, do whatever he can, because he'll automatically see like these guys are actually heroes. Think, well, I got ammo. That's the wrong word to use, but I got ammo to use that could give me the advantage. But again, I can see Hulk. They don't rush that battle. Excuse me. If the Seven can't get things under control and they keep prolonging the fight, if Homelander gets a little bit cocky, which he will, and just start trying to go hand to hand with Hulk, and he just gets madder, he'll start becoming like a threat to everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to get to the point where they say, Thor, I need you to help. I don't have the Hulk Buster. I need you to help. But it's a very cool fight, and it's not black and white as you think it's going to be.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, too, is even because like Iron Man could easily be taken out of this fight, especially if they're meeting in a situation where he doesn't have access to another suit. Starlight could instantly just take his suit out, and then all of a sudden, bam, Iron Man's gone. So now we don't have Iron Man, and it's a very interesting situation to be in. I think Hulk is the main heavy hitter. Absolutely. Even though you got Thor and freaking Captain America there, like, not like Thor's gonna sit by idly and not do anything. But
he's the one. I think he's the reason why they might lose, and I'll tell you why. Because first off, Thor loves to fight. He won't lose his crap like the Hulk will. And being a Viking, he'll get that bloodlust and want to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And I don't think anybody can keep up with him.
Yeah, that's fair. Plus his powers alone, I think, in terms of, because obviously you had characters like Stormfront, where they could control the weather, they could use that energy field to, shoot lightning bolts and stuff like that. But in terms of Thor, you have a superpower who was genetically altered to do that, and then you have a literal god who was born to do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like the power level on that front is not equal at all.
I want to see. Here's what I want to see.
I want it to be, but it's not.
Oh no, it's fine. Like I want to see Thor throw that hammer, and then Homelander either trying to brace himself catching it or just trying to catch it in general. And he'll go flying with that hammer wherever it lands. He won't let go, and then somehow he'll be pinned under the hammer because I know damn well he's not worthy. He's like the very opposite of it.
No.
And he'll just be trapped under that hammer. And right there, you just subdued the biggest threat. So but no, like I said, this isn't a very, I don't want to say it's one-sided because it can go. I said they piss Hulk off enough. Though that's a big problem because you got to get people out of the city because it won't be standing very long.
No. And I think Homelander and Maeve could definitely take on the Hulk. I don't think it could last forever.
Yeah.
But
I'll give that
the thing is, they could get him pissed off enough
Yeah.
to just go full destruction on everything.
I agree. Iron Man and Cap be like, you guys need to quit. I get we're trying to fight, but you got to stop what you're doing or we won't be able to win.
Yeah, no, all of us will lose.
Yeah, all of us will lose. Like I said, Tony won't have any of his tech with him. But if it was the other way around, where the seven came to New York, like Marvel's New York City, I'm gonna say as respectfully, their biggest threat would probably be Iron Man because, like I said, he'll take that situation because the people he's fought, he's ready for damn near anything, and he'll probably, like I said, he'll probably be the biggest threat with the tech he has and the plans. And I'm not counting out Black Panther.
No, because Black Panther is just as resourceful
exactly.
and also just as powerful too. Because I think Black Panther and Black Noir could have it out pretty good. Even though I think in that situation, it wouldn't be an easy fight, but I think Black Noir might come out just a little bit more on top. But that's
What's
just
his
my
powers?
personal views. Black Noir, he has a very impressive like pain tolerance and pain suppression. He's an expert assassin, martial artist. He is a master with knives. He has a healing factor which helps him regenerate, and he has like insane strength. And actually in the comics, he was the only one that was able to kill Homelander. So if you want to take that into account, he is one of the strongest members that is on the team.
I did not know that. Holy cow.
Yeah, he's pretty insane.
I know in the show, I never read the books, but in the show, Homelander killed him, and then they replaced him with another superhero.
Yes.
But spoiler alert, sorry, whoever didn't watch the show. But
at least currently, but yeah. I kind of mixed like the show aspects into some of the comic aspects just because I thought that would be a little bit more fun as well.
I mean, when you asked me to make up the Avengers team, I really wanted to add Black Widow and Hawkeye, but I know they're fantastic. I know they are. They're the most human, quote unquote, members of that team I'd pick. I don't know how long they'd last. It'd be up in the air. I mean, I know they're highly skilled, but I don't know how well that would have went. That's what it is.
That would have been a tough one. I was surprised that.
Yeah, every member of the Seven has super strength, at least.
Yes.
It's like they're super strong. And not every member of the Avengers is that. I guarantee the Deep being, I don't want to say his weakest, but I guarantee his strength is at least like Captain America.
Yeah,
Captain
he
America
does
strength.
exhibit a lot of like strength qualities. I mean, like, because I think in one scene he got crushed by like a giant weightlifting weight. He got crushed by that. And he's sent people through walls. He's crushed people's heads. So, like, he still has the strength. I don't think he has the fighting skills that the rest of them have. Yeah. He doesn't have, like, specific powers. And besides, what are the chances that they're going to be fighting near a body of water? Or some type of aquatic form? It's very difficult on that front. Which also makes sense as to why they ended up splitting him up. Whenever he was going through like their patrols, they always put him next to a body of water, and because that's where his powers were most made sense. Usually, if you saw him fight outside, it was kind of a one-on-one fight.
Now, if I would have had like, let's say the Deep, let's say the weakest link, respectfully, the Deep got killed before this fight, and they somehow, by some miracle, had Soldier Boy on their team. With the powers he had in the show, like I don't know, like that'd be tough because he has that I don't know what that'd be, that beam that pretty much kills any super that like on that show. That'd be rough.
I think my question is, that'd be horrible. My question is, so like technically all of the heroes of the Avengers, they're not like physically altered. But their genetics are physically altered to make them a little bit more than human. Obviously, Thor's a god. Hulk had the accident. Iron Man, he's just got his tech. But like Captain America, he was genetically altered.
Yeah.
So would Soldier Boy's, this should have been the next one, but like, would Soldier Boy's blast completely take away those people's powers? If he just like blasted them, would Captain America not be strong anymore? Would the Hulk just go back to being Bruce Banner and nothing else?
I agree with.
Like, would Thor be taken away from his god powers?
That's what I was gonna get to. I agree with you all the way up to maybe Hulk and Thor, because actually I'd give Hulk. I'd say that's probably trouble for Hulk, because if you siphon all the gamma out of him, he does revert back to Bruce Banner. Thor. I don't know, because he is a god. I'm not sure what the hell. He'd probably just laugh at it and hit him with the hammer. He'd probably just laugh like, "What are you doing, mortal?" And boom.
I don't know what that would work like.
I don't know. I think that'd make the fight a bit more interesting, because him and Cap would go face to face, and that'd be a cool fight.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much how Soldier Boy is what people don't want Captain America to be. He's like the perfect negative Captain America almost. Some cases he's worse than Homelander. No, I think that'd make the fight more interesting.
For sure. And also, if Iron Man was taken out by Starlight, would somebody else come
Yeah.
in for him?
No. I mean, if you were to, like, say, replace him with Spider-Man, Spider-Man is a very awesome wild card because it's very hard to get it. How can I say this?
Mm-hmm.
He's very hard to fight because he's really good at pissing people off and that's what he does. When he's in a fight, he gets people mad and throws them off their game. There's like his lack of discipline is what makes him hard to beat, if that makes any sense. Like Captain America, Black Panther, and I think Ant-Man, he probably has some martial arts too. That requires discipline. And Spider-Man, in some cases, depending on how much of a rookie he is, like from high school, his non-discipline is probably what would make him very hard to get around. Because he just messes with people. Like in Civil War, they did it perfectly. When they were fighting at that airport, he jumps to that window and he beats up Falcon and Winter Soldier. And Winter Soldier goes to hit him in the face, and Spider-Man just catches his arm and bends it like nothing. And he goes, "Dude, you got a metal arm?" And he just like nothing, bending it. And Winter Soldier's like trying like hell to move, and he can't. That's just, that part was really funny. I like that part. That's probably one of my favorite parts of that movie. It'd be a pretty good fight. It's hard to tell you who would come on top because it's just so much gray area, but I don't know. Hard to tell. It'd be fun to watch though. I'll give you that.
All right, so clearly this is not going to be as easy as I had intended on it being at all, which is great. I thought the Avengers were going to come in and just swoop these guys for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting matchup. I enjoy the characters that you had chose. I really do, especially with the characters that I had chose to be in the 7. Kind of went with a more original cast a little bit, and so did you. So it was a nice little matchup there. But
Yeah.
let us know in the comments who do you think would win? Because this was diving deeper into it. I don't think this was as clear as I had thought it was going to be. Personally, I think that the Avengers are going to kind of come out in the end. I think in order to do that, they are definitely going to have to stoop a little bit lower than they usually do. They're going to have to do some questionable things that they may question afterwards. Absolutely. And I think if the public did see any of this, which obviously there are eyes everywhere, things are going to be seen and things are going to be done that's going to be really questionable for the Avengers in order to actually pull it off. But I do think they have the manpower to kind of have that edge up.
Yeah. All right. We're going to call it there for this episode.
Let us know in the comments, who do you think would win this fight? Who do you think would win when worlds collide and the 7 meets the Avengers? Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more interesting content and more interesting conversations. We will be back with you next week for another episode of your weekly pop culture apocalypse.